Welcome to the Oddity Archive, the only show other than Jeopardy where a pedantic streak will get you everywhere. Now, as you may or may not remember, in the last episode we discussed civil defense broadcasts. You know, the emergency broadcast system and stuff like that. So today, since we're already on that path of everyday but nonetheless slightly startling occurrences, let's discuss that long-lost late-night institution, the sign-off. Now, if I may get just a touch nostalgic for a moment here, I think I can safely say that I'm of the last generation to remember TV stations going off the air late at night, even if by that point they'd only sign off briefly. I mean, sometimes just as little as 15 minutes. And admittedly, as a kid, I didn't catch many of these. In fact, I was more prone to waking up early in the morning before the stations would sign on.
Channel 2, good morning. This is WCBS TV in New York City, beginning another day of broadcasting here on
But I do
Channel 2
remember
by
that feeling of
authority
isolation that would come over you when a station would give their little nightly spiel and either cut to the color bars or simply cut off their signal altogether. And the radio stations, like today, would usually just kick into autopilot during the overnight hours, so you truly felt detached at that point. Now bear in mind, the internet was around, but it was still pretty strictly an internal networking computer geek sort of thing. From where I stand, when the internet did enter the mainstream, circa 1997, it seems to coincide with the point at which TV stopped signing off and the all-night infomercial marathon was born. When TV first started up in the 1940s and 50s, they'd only be on the air during the day and early evening hours. Some stations didn't even do that. They'd give the morning news and just disappear until late afternoon. Of course, as time went on, viewing hours got progressively longer. But the constant into the 90s was that very ceremonious, very definitive moment where you could almost see everything coming to a halt. But you, faithful viewer, probably didn't come to hear me reminisce, so let the wackiness ensue.
I'm happy.
Remember how sometimes stations would stretch out their nightly procedures to just ludicrous lengths? I mean, you'd get the block of public service announcements, and you'd get the editorial reply, and then the nightly mini-sermon, then you'd get the audio-only news recap, and then you'd get some drawn-out montage of local scenery while some announcer would give you way too much information about the station. I mean, they'd give everything but the staff's favorite dessert recipes. Then you'd get a screwed-up old faded 16mm print of the Star-Spangled Banner, or some independent stations would play pop songs instead. Then they'd finally sign off. We at the Oddity Archive, in one of our more questionable moments of sanity, thought it would be fun to try our hand at a classic TV sign-off of our own. Enjoy. KLAK, Channel 13. It's an addiction, all right. Every day, dozens of Americans consume frozen blended beverages just for that sensation. Sponsored by the Brain Freeze Foundation Fund of Farmington, Florida, and the Ad Council. Look at this place. KLAK, Channel 13. And now, Steve Goldman of the Hosers of America in a KLAK editorial reply. Last week, one of the anchors at this station in an editorial stated that bullying and any form of hate are toxic. Wusses. I say, what's wrong with pushing someone else around once in a while? Life sucks! And sometimes a man just needs to reclaim that bit of primal feeling within him. And it provides quite a rush. You know, sometimes that little twerp in your life needs to know who's boss. In fact, by trade, I'm an office manager. And I can't tell you how much it hurts my ego, my feelings, when one of my employees gets kudos from a client or someone, but doesn't hand any of it over to me. This is my show here, and no little Dudley Do-Right can take that away from me. He deserves to be bullied. And if he quits, well, these days with the economy and stuff, everyone's expendable. If he leaves, there's just another dozen in line to take his place. I can't lose. And as for hate, it's better than a good strong cup of coffee in the morning. You don't know that feeling of superiority until you've shoved that little scrawny Hindu guy into the wall of the elevator. Oh, sorry. Go have some curry, you little pussy. What's the matter? You gonna cry? This has been a KLAK editorial reply. The views expressed in this editorial do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of KLAK.
Somebody deserves a purple nurple for that one.
And they want to bring back the fairness doctrine. And now the final report. This is Ron Goodman. Our top story tonight remains the wildfires burning within the state. Another 16 fires were started in the Rocky Mountains today. In spite of the total fire ban, the fires are believed to have been started by tourists trying to start campfires and by careless cigarette smokers. The president visited one of the burn sites today. Upon his arrival, he was quoted to have said, "Holy expletive, you're on your own." In sports, the Yankees were scalped by the Indians. Just a little sports humor there. At Wimbledon, Sharapova took a ball to the nose, but finished out the set winning 3-2. In weather, it's hot, windy, and dry, and it's gonna stay that way. This has been a summary of today's news from News Center 13. And now, give us this day. From the Need Money Church of Beverly Hills, California, Pastor George Needlesman. The other day, after a service, a young member of the congregation came up to me. He pulled a small, sad-looking frog out of his pocket. He told me how he loved that frog and how his parents didn't. It was clear that this frog would die soon. The young parishioner knew it and was having a hard time coming to grips with it. I told him that life and death are all a part of God's plan and that love transcends all life forms. This has been Pastor George Needlesman with the Need Money Church of Beverly Hills, California. Give Us This Day was presented in cooperation with the Striped Collar Society of America. KLAK, Channel 13. This is station KLAK, Channel 13, Denver, Colorado, signing off for this evening. KLAK is a clearinghouse station. Our studios are located at 1428 Elm Street, Denver, Colorado, 80709. Operating on Channel 13 by authority of the Federal Communications Commission, KLAK's transmitters are located atop Lookout Mountain, broadcasting on 60 to 66 megahertz at a power of 100,000 watts of radiated video power and the maximum audio power. KLAK transmits on microwave transmitters WTF-69 and BMF-47. KLAK proudly displays the seal of out of practice. Some of the programs aired on this station are pre-recorded and may not be used for any purpose other than exhibition at time of original broadcast on receivers other than the type of those used for ordinary home reception in places where no admission, cover charge, or mechanical operation charges are made. KLAK staff member Marjorie Whiteman's famous cookie recipe consists of 2 cups of flour, half a cup of sugar, half a teaspoon of baking powder, 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips, half a cup of oatmeal, half a cup of milk, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a 1/4 cup of softened butter. Anchor Bill Bruckman's pant size is 36 by 34. He prefers that no starch is used. Kitty Kellerman's birthday party will be held at Williams Tavern at 33rd and Wazee on Thursday at 5 p.m., and station manager Richard Feldman is a skinflint. This is Ron Goodman on behalf of the staff and management of KLAK bidding you good night. We will return to the airwaves at 5:27 this morning with more quality programming. And now, our national anthem. Good night.
What the hell?
Nice. Did you notice you forgot to rewind it? I think that's the least of our concerns right now. That's the only Star-Spangled Banner clip we've got. Whatever, it was old. I mean, the flag only had 48 stars on it, for Christ's sakes. I mean, maybe now this cheap-ass station will finally get a new anthem clip. So what do we do now? Not every station that signed off would go to the color bars or static. Sometimes you'd find stations that would air their own painfully boring, homebrew, graphics-only news program with some local radio station playing in the background after sign-off. I can't imagine anyone watched this crap back then. Now, today I could see watching bits of it on YouTube, that somebody happened to catch on tape at the time, but that's only if you're some kind of aficionado of early computer graphics interfaces. I mean, these shows, what?
Out of time.
Out of time already.
Yes.
Well, what the hell did I do that took so long?
Yes.
Never mind. I think I know. Well, that's it for this show. Signing off for tonight.
This is for all the lonely people, thinking that life has passed them by. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup and ride that highway in the sky. This is for all the single people, thinking that love has left them dry. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup. You never know until you try. Well, I'm on my way. Yes, I'm back to stay. Well, I'm on my way back home. Get it?
The moon is moving toward its full phase. The morning star is Mars. The evening star...